Greetings once again, everyone. Today is Saturday, the 22nd of January, 2022. I'm joined with Michael in Germany, and we have a session today on conspiracy from the biblical perspective. And Michael and I were just talking, I'm trying to wake up here in Siberia. Oh, I'm sorry, Minnesota. And a little bit of a cold snap coming over here. But how about you, Michael? How are things going over there?
Yeah, hello, Brad. Hello, dear listeners out there. This is the second session of Conspiracies. Actually, it's a pre-runner of a series coming up, which I'm already doing in German with Jörg. And I have waken up about, let me see, about 10 hours ago at 8 o'clock in the morning, and now it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's quite okay here outside. It's wet like Germany, always wet. And just going into the script now, because I know that I think that the American people also should really know what's all the background of conspiracies. Last time we went on from the creation of the world, from Genesis 1, straight on to John 1, about the creator called Jesus Christ, straight to the revelation when Satan was, or Lucifer actually was thrown out of heaven in Revelation 12. And now we have also been debating about the thing happened in the Garden of Eden. And I think it was a very interesting session. And so this is the runner-up, and I hope that we can all make it in the second session so that we can from then on have a good background about the biblical history, about where all the apostasy and where all the conspiracy actually came from, because conspiracy also means that there are two people in the same spirit, or there are two creatures in the same spirit. What's it all about? We will see very soon. So this is just the headline: Lucifer, Satan, Devil, Dragon, Serpent, all the same meanings about the spirit of Satan. What's it all about?
Hello, dear listeners. We're back today for another session on the 23rd of January. And January is a cold, cold month here in the center of the continent of what we call it, North America, after the pagan god or whatever it was. Something to do with, that old... the old mythology, shall we call it, Michael, that we've been all so indoctrinated with in this world. Well, Michael and I are coming together to do a session on conspiracy. And you could say Columbus conspired, couldn't you, Michael? In 17. What was it? 1492. Sail the ocean blue. Yes. And here we are in 2022. Quite some years later. And the world does run on conspiracy, to quote our dear friend Daryl Eberhardt. And Michael has put a wonderful script together, worked very hard, and done these in German, and he offered me the opportunity to join him on this journey in English. So I want to welcome everyone to Michael's script, and we did the first two sessions on the biblical approach to the conspiracy, which I think was a brilliant idea, Michael, because oftentimes we lack biblical knowledge, and especially when we're in our younger years. And it takes a while to actually acquire biblical knowledge, because that knowledge is given to us when we're ready to receive it, when we have ears to hear and eyes to see what the Spirit has to say. So welcome, Michael.
Yeah, hi, Brett. Hi, dear listeners out there. This is then, if you would like to see it that way, this is then session 3 about conspiracies. Well, actually, the entire title would be, What Does the Bible Reveal About Real Conspiracies? Yeah, So it has all a biblical background, of course, because that you also can treat the Bible as a history book, which is correct. This is a correct history book, by the way, so that many of the textbooks in the school and education facilities, yeah, of course, they are being biased. This is doctrine, you have to believe it, and of course, you cannot prove it. And so this is about, intermediate session between the biblical background and between the worldly outcome, so to speak. So this is once again Lucifer falling out of heaven. Of course, this is a very famous or infamous picture of that rock group from the 70s called Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Actually, it's the other way around. It's Stairway from Heaven, because he's falling down. As you can see, he's leaning forward, and there is some debris, and it's very dark. And I think that we also.
Excuse me, Michael. I got to interrupt you. I don't see the page in front of me.
So that's just a brief thing, and pardon me for having that script in German, partly in German, partly in English now, because it's too much work to do it in English once again. But okay, so then let's do it in English or in German with text and with English translation. It's about the names of Satan, actually. So once you have Lucifer, Satan, the devil, the dragon, and the snake, or the serpent. So what's what? Well, Lucifer is the old name. Lucifer is a combined name of lux means light, and the other thing is to bear. So to bear the light. This is the name of the spirit, as he was a servant of the Almighty God, according to the biblical chapters Isaiah 14:12 and Ezekiel 28:13. So that is here a reminder that you can look it up if you're not, if you're uncertain or you would like to back it up. So once he has lost it, after he has rebelled in the heaven, according to Revelation 12, then he was being named Satan. Satan means the adversary, so the opponent. So he has to be in opposition every time. So if Jesus Christ is the truth, then he is the opposite of truth. So he is the father of lies, of course. If Jesus Christ is the life, so then he is death. Yeah. So Satan is just also a name of a spirit, of the spirit now called Satan. After he was being rebellion in heaven, after he was cast down to the earth, now he is just the adversary. Yeah. So adversary. According to Isaiah 14:12. According to Revelation 12 and 20, and also according Luke 10:18, behold, Jesus Christ said, I saw Satan fell like a lightning from sky. Yeah, so when he fell, he already was being named Satan by Jesus Christ, because he's the adversary. And of course, he's the adversary of Christ, and therefore he's the initiative spirit of the spirit of Antichrist. So he's Antichrist, he is against Christ, he's the opponent, he's the adversary. Yeah, you're free to go to call him the adversary spirit. You're free to go to call him the opponent of Christ. You're free to go to call him the Antichrist, and you're free to go to call him whatever you like, but he is the absolute direct opponent, actually, of Jesus Christ. Yeah? So he's the one who has fallen. He's the one who is just evil. Yeah? And devil is a common meme for a spirit. Actually, it means Satan. Actually, it means the evil thing, the accuser. Yeah, so devil is almost the same as Satan. It is just another tale. It is just another name. It is just another title. All these are only not a real name. It's not like Mark or Luke or John or what else. These are actually names of professions. For example, if you would be a cab driver, or if you would be a surgeon, or if you would be a milkmaid, or what else? I don't know. Yeah. So this is Lucifer means the light bearer, and Satan means the adversary or the accuser. Yeah. So you see, this is just a profession. He lost his profession in heaven, and now his profession on earth is being Satan, being the adversary to try people. Yeah. We have found that out in the last session. Yeah, and so Teufel or devil, of course, devil. Yeah, it's a common thing. If you look it up on Wikipedia, they will tell you, oh, this is in all the. Oh, that's Wikipedia. Yeah. Yeah. It's a personification of evil in many various cultures and religious traditions. Yeah? So can mean Satan, can mean devil, can mean demon, because demon, as far as I'm concerned, it is a Greek meaning, demon. It has also been found in the ESOT software. It is then demon. So therefore, yeah, devils also means a demon. And if you go into the New Testament, yeah, you see then here the Greek word demonizomai. Yeah, a demon, yeah, to be possessed with a devil. So demons means devils, or little devils, or you can also name them evil spirits, or what else you would like. So devils, yeah. So this is a multitude devils, yeah. So it is not only the devil or the Satan, but it is just an army of devils, multitude of devils. Yeah, that they were possessed with devils. Yeah, Matthew 8:16, possessed by devils. Yeah, so many of them. Yeah, he cast out the spirits, multitude. So that about devils. Devils is just a general name for evil spirits. And the devil can mean also Satan, of course. So, dragon. Or Drache in German. Dragon is the name of the spirit of Satan when it is about the war, the spiritual war. Then he's been mentioned as a dragon. So we do not know if dragon really exists. I know that Jörg once told us that in Marco Polo, the famous adventurer in, I think it was the 14th century or so, he just talked about that he saw dragons in China, but of course it could also, I have not read it, but just only heard it, can also mean that he meant that they were worshipping dragons, which they absolutely do in China. If there is any country in the world who are admiring dragons, then it is China. So that if China would officially take over the world, then it is even worse than the United States, because they are worshipping the dragon. So, and you see also what's happening in China, by the way. So you don't have to be surprised that it is a dictatorship and that there is much more censorship than here. Yeah, but these are the things to come, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems that way, Michael.
So the dragon is the spirit, the prince of the power of the air, actually. This is the function, to be a dragon, this is the function of him as a pure spirit fighting against the spirit of God. Then he's the dragon. He's depicted as the dragon in Revelation 12:3, and he's depicted as the prince of the power of the air in Ephesians 6. So this is the pure spirit of Satan, being depicted as a dragon. In comparison, therefore, the snake or the serpent is the animal which has been named according to Satan, because it's twisting. It doesn't go straight. It's just twisting and twisting the world, and has a forked tongue, etc. And is crawling on his belly to eat dust. And it also can mean that it eats the spirit of men or women, of mankind, because he's just the accuser. He's the adversary. He's the opponent of Jesus Christ. So that means that here in our earth, in the material things, he would appear to be worshipped as a serpent or a snake. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah. So you got the 5 things. Lucifer is his profession in heaven. Satan is his profession on earth. The devil is a broad term which also depicts his servants about being evil spirits. The dragon is the name of Satan, actually, when it comes down to spiritual battle, like Ephesians 6. And serpent is just a disguise of Satan, or the worship of Satan on earth, so that you can, and when you approach a serpent symbol, then watch out. It is by no means an accident that the pharmaceutical industry is bearing a serpent on a rod symbol when it comes down to pharmakeia.
I get a laugh because the bishops of the Catholic Church carry the scepter with that serpent head on it.
Oh, there too, but actually there are much more. This is a general depiction. Of course, if you would know the staff of Asclepius, which we have talked about, this is also sure. the twisted serpent. But there is a much more, I think, much more subtle, subtle example. It's the St. Peter Cathedral. And I hope I got a picture of the altar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you got it. Yeah, you see? This is the serpent.
Right. 4 of them.
Yeah,
Columns.
this is the columns. Yeah. First of all, it is forbidden to raise any columns. Yeah. Second, it is forbidden to have any stairs. Yeah, it's all the opposition, and of course they worship the opposition of Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Right.
So
And it's
they
forbidden to have any hewn stones that are cut with hands.
Yeah, they are absolutely spot on. They are absolutely in the worship of the adversary. And that's the name of the adversary is Satan. Yeah, so this is a interesting example, I hope. Yeah. So as an animal, it was depicted as a serpent in the Garden of Eden. But you see that it's in any way, shape, or form, it's always the same. If you got a serpent here, or if you have the abbreviation SOS, can mean see opposite, which would be the medical term. So if necessary, that is the meaning. SOS can also mean, according to the book of Revelation, the synagogue of Satan. I know it is in the book of Revelation, but sure. Where it is. Yeah, there it is, Revelation 2:9. The synagogue of Satan also bears the abbreviation, in short, SOS. Not save our souls. That's the exoteric. Huh? Save our souls, yeah. No, the snake people are coming to get you.
Yeah. Coming to devour you.
The Escalab fan club. Huh? Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so it is now, of course, Genesis 3:1 that the serpent was more subtle than any other beast of the field because he was possessed by the spirit of Satan, being the spirit of Antichrist, of course. This is the possession of an animal in Genesis 3:1. But there is also an example which we talked about last time. It is in Luke 22, verse 4. It is Satan possessing Judas Iscariot. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yes.
he can possess the spirit of animals and he can possess the spirit of man. If condition A, in my humble opinion, God allows us, yeah, okay, and B, if the possessed spirit is not in Jesus Christ, huh? Okay, maybe there are not conditions too. Yeah.
Luke 22:4 reads, "And he went his way," speaking of Judas Iscariot, "and communed with the chief priests and captains, how he might betray him unto them." It's a very interesting portion of the Gospel of Luke. 22 verse 4, right?
Yeah, the chief priests and captains. And the chief priests, we know that these people are the people with knowledge who can read and write and store the knowledge, of course. And also the chief priests are these from the confessions. Yeah, so they have secret knowledge about rulers, about secrets, about states, and all kind of information. So these were the so-called secret service of the ancient times. Actually, I think. That's the point that Jörg many times have pointed out. So can be possessed. So somebody or a spirit can be possessed by the influence of an evil spirit, by the spirit of Satan, by the Antichrist spirit, either animal and man. Yeah. So the most famous was Judas Iscariot. Yeah. Luke 22, verse 3. Yeah, Satan entered into Judas. Of course, Satan is a spirit. It's absolutely clear. It isn't that Satan ran into Judas and Judas fell flat on the floor. Yeah, so it is a spirit. It is spiritual possession.
It's actually done with consent, Michael.
Yeah, and it's also depicted here as Satan himself. It is not any kind of a demon. It is not devils.
But you do have to give consent, don't you? That is the the underlying principle that
yeah, he did.
that
He did.
all religion deals with. You have to have faith and believe. So if your faith is centered in Satan, then that's where you go.
Yeah, he had submitted his spirit to Satan before when he was meeting the chief priests and scribes, and
well,
sure.
Wasn't it when he was sitting at the table with Jesus and he said, "Whoever takes the sop, will betray me," and it was Judas that took it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So then we proceed. In the 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 13, it's been said that we should go into this before I stumble across translating one-to-one. So 2 Corinthians 11. Let's look it up. It was verse 13 to 15. So Brett can have his 2 minutes.
Yes, verse 13, you said? Yeah.
Yes.
For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works.
Yeah, and that's the key things. You see that when there are false apostles, you know that they have spread false doctrines, and it's all over the world, all over the place, actually. And in verse 14, this is the key for me. Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Yeah, and that's the key thing about the Luciferian spirit out there. Yeah, so they are twisting everything around. They say, no, Satan is not the accuser, Satan is not the adversary, Satan is not bad. Yeah, he's been transformed into an angel of light. And of course, if you transform an angel, an evil spirit into a good spirit, it is a spiritual thing. Yeah, and so it has been taught today that, you have religious freedom and you can believe whatever you like and blah, blah, blah. And the problem is that people are now in the Luciferian spirit. We will go into this quite soon. Yeah, so they speak of righteousness, they speak of peace, but it's just from their viewpoint, from a satanic viewpoint. Yeah. So that is a spiritual war once again. Yeah. So Lucifer means light and to bear. So this personification of the morning star in the Roman mythology. Yeah. So the star who appears on the sky before, the sun is rising. Yeah. So the brightest star is being depicted as Lucifer. And then, of course, you have the verse of Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O son of the morning? So it is absolutely about the morning. It is not about the evening or high noon or what else, or cookie and cream. It's just about the morning, the son of the morning. Huh? So this is actually also a symbol of the brightest star. And we know that in Revelation, it is just that Lucifer has fallen. And so it is just very interesting because Lucifer claims to be the brightest star, or it's been worshipped actually from people as the brightest star, when at the same time in Revelation 22, verse 16, Jesus Christ claims himself that he is the one who shall be seen as the morning star. So once again, it is that Lucifer-Satan claims to wants to have the title of Christ. And that's the same thing which we have learned in 2 Corinthians when Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Because Jesus Christ is the light of the world. So he's been transformed by people as a humble servant of Christ, which he isn't. Yeah. So, and this is the key verse here in 22:16, which has been used all over again from the Freemasonry to deceive people into believing that Lucifer is the good one. But Jesus is the one.
Yes, and should I read that, Michael?
You should
Okay, Revelation chapter 22, verse 16 reads, I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star.
So that means that there's nothing left for Lucifer.
That's right.
Yeah, the profession has been cancelled by God because he did not obey.
That's an interesting point, Michael. And I remember back when I first started doing Bible studies, I was heavily indoctrinated with a lot of this Luciferian garbage, and that just threw me for a loop. It really did. But that's the world we live in, Michael. We're deeply indoctrinated with these things. But
Yeah,
the way you just explained it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, and so it is absolutely that people absolutely want to be enlightened, want to have knowledge, and it's the same thing around from the chapter 3 of Genesis, when ye shall be as gods. And when Eve was tempted a tree to make one wise. And that's the same temptation that all the pharmaceutical, all the medical facilities, all these doctors, all these professors, all these professed people, all these students fell for. Oh yeah, we want to be as wise. And of course, combined with the material wealth of having a big house with a bath tube, with swimming pools, with big fancy cars, luxury items, and etc. Of course, that's the temptation. And Jesus Christ, when he was walking down the earth, what did he had? A pair of shoes or what? Yeah. Okay, so then let's move on. It's a spiritual thing. Yeah? So that Jesus Christ is the bright and morning star. And if somebody can have real knowledge, then it is with the fear of the Lord. It's the beginning of all wisdom. So if you don't have God, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ being the Son of God, if you don't believe in the Almighty God of the Bible, if you don't believe that Jesus Christ has created anything, then you cannot achieve real wisdom, because you will be tossed around by Satan and his disciples, Satan and his evil spirit, Satan and his demons, devils, what else you would like to call them, that you shall be one of the gods of this world. And so that compare that with the driving methods nowadays, when with 1970, 80, when people were decent and were helping each other. And just today, everybody is rude, very aggressive. People fight against parking lot spaces and all these futile things nowadays. Yeah, people are extremely aggressive. Look upon, for example, the design of cars from the 1960s to the 2022. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Almost every automobile looks like a snake today. Yeah, really.
Yeah. Or a fighter aircraft, jet fighter.
Yeah, you see that I have my running joke with the Lamborghini. Yeah, so and Lamborghini has its first sports car made in the 1960s, Miura. That was the car where Frank Sinatra said that if you want to be somebody, you drive a Ferrari, but if you are somebody, you drive a Lamborghini. And of course, what did he drive? Yes, a Lamborghini. So this is a Lamborghini Miura. You don't have to like it, and I know that I'm biased because I'm a guy and I was a car guy. Yeah, and this car actually had some some headlights. Yeah, you see some headlights like a girl here, huh? You see, yeah. But it looks kind of okay, and this is weird, but it looks not strange, or so it looks interesting maybe. And now you compare that with the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. You see that? The devil is angry because he's got no time left. Yeah, so that you also don't have any time left. Yeah. So it is absolutely correct that this guy, that car, doesn't have any time left.
Modeled after Pope VI Hall in the Vatican there.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's really interesting, huh?
Yes.
And it was not me, so Jörg came up with that one day. I see there are other examples, of course, yeah. But he came up with that day, and I remember when cars were looking nice in the 1980s, yeah. So let's have a Porsche 911, yeah. You see that I was in love with that car. Yeah, because it looks nice and not that big and not that what else. But you see that. But now you have the modern times. Yeah.
Right.
And so that is everywhere in architecture, everywhere you look around you, it is just that the spirit of Satan is being promoted everywhere. Yeah, so Lucifer also been mentioned in theosophy. There is no higher religion than truth. Ha ha ha, very interesting, because Jesus Christ is the truth according to John 14:6. Yeah, but there is a certain Dave Spangler. I know that Jörg is frequently mentioning him. I haven't run across his quote so that I cannot verify it, but you run across this quote quite frequently on the internet. It says, quote, Lucifer comes to give us the final Luciferian initiation. It is the initiation into the new age, so to speak. Yeah, remember Aleister Crowley, yeah, the Age of Horrors. He also says that Christ is the same force as Lucifer. Yeah, we know that is absolutely incorrect. Lucifer prepares man for the experience of Christhood. Very, very wrong. Lucifer works within each one of us to bring us wholeness as we move into the new age. Yeah, so that's the thing, that he and his disciples are being disguised as angels of light. That's absolutely spot on here. You know, the Bible is the textbook, and all the powers in the world, how powerful they might be, they have to act according to the Bible to be successful. So we know what is. And later on, they will tell you, "Oh no, the Bible is incorrect." And yeah, they will get rid of the Bible, I'm absolutely sure. And therefore, you cannot look into the Bible anymore. And they will claim that, oh no, it was not the prophecy of God, we did it on our own, or so to speak. But actually, they are absolutely acting according to the Bible. And therefore, we will be hated quite soon, for obvious reasons, because we do not fear the things that the common man fears and is running around outside like a zombie nowadays. So this is here the Luciferian spirit. Yeah, you see it. You see the depiction of the snake. You see the depiction of the swastika as the ancient sun symbol of the Far East. Yeah, you see a hexagram. You see an ankh. This is a famous quote. I cannot back it up, but you see that people are being united in the Luciferian spirit. You don't have to read anything, but it is so quite obvious. Yeah. And Dave Spangler, as the director of Planetary Initiative, I know that is on the internet, but I have no, and I repeat, no proof of it. This is an elite quote. No one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation. Yes, so I don't care, because you see, I know that Lucifer does not exist anymore. It is a profession and not a name. Yeah, but to find this out, you would have to read the Bible. And maybe they read the Bible, but not the right Bible. And if they're not in the spirit of truth, then they can read the Bible as long as the cows come home, but they will not get it. So they will believe the lies of Satan and his disciples, because that is what makes them powerful. That is what makes them rich. And that is the only thing that people in the material Antichrist spirit would like to achieve. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to have money, fame, fortune, power, glory. It's the same as their master, which has been called Satan and not Lucifer once for all. Yeah?
Oh, here we go. Psalm 82 verse 5 reads, "They know not, neither will they understand. They walk in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course." I know there's another verse that speaks about how the darkness cannot comprehend the light. That's
Wasn't it 82? 82?
Oh yeah, 82 verse 5. Sorry, Michael.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Sorry, I was a little bit off. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if we really, read this from the top, it says, you can get more out of it often if you start at the beginning of the chapter. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They that walk in darkness, all the foundations of the earth are out of course. So there you go.
Yeah, just the children of disobedience.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you take that further, you know, we're born natural men in this world. We aren't really entered into the faith until we have been born in the Spirit, born of the Spirit through Christ, with Christ at the head, meaning that we allow the Spirit of Jesus Christ to enter our hearts. And I mean that by we read our scriptures and we understand the lessons that scriptures are teaching us, because there are many, many lessons in scriptures, and they're painful lessons, I might add. A lot of pain involved with becoming a born-again believer, because you have to encounter those in your family, in your path on life, where when you profess Jesus to be your Savior, people will scorn you, period, because they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it, Michael.
Yeah, because they want to be gods for themselves.
Yep, there you go. They would prefer the Luciferian agenda, because that's what everyone else does. Oh, I want to be big in this world. Big time. I'm on my way. I'm making it. Yeah, making it straight to hell, aren't you?
And so the morning star often is Venus, the planet Venus. And Venus, of course, we know from the Roman mythology, is the goddess of fertility, the goddess of beauty, the goddess of love, etc., etc. And the Venus has a certain movement around the Earth. And there are 5 stationary courses. You see that from 2004 to 2009, for example. And these are depicting 5 points. And if you divide 360 circle in the 5 points, you achieve, of course, a 5-pointed star. And this is a Venus pentagram. And so therefore, that is the symbolism of Satanism or Luciferianism. So this is here with the arrow pointing up. This is Luciferian thing, that you want to achieve things up in the sky. So you want to achieve intelligence, you want to be enlightened. And the other way around, if I would switch it around here, that this arrow points downwards, it is Satan, so it depicts the fall. Yeah, so it is the absolute worship then of Satan. So this is a Luciferian pentagram to be viewed from this side. So if you would run to the opposite side, then it would be, in your viewpoint from the other side, it would be a satanic pentagram. So that, therefore I say that either one around, I don't care, because just the main thing is that you don't have Jesus Christ as your savior. Yeah, so if you are being lost, being a Luciferian, if you are being lost being a satanic worshipper, you see that in the end the outcome is absolutely the same. Also, the 5-pointed star is a symbol for the 5 times I will in the King James Bible of Isaiah 14:12. So for all the people who think that there is just only the circle around the Earth from the Venus, no, it is just also the 5 times I will in Isaiah 14. You see that is in the King James Bible. You got 5 times I will. Yeah, I will ascend, I will exalt, I will sit, I will ascend, I will be. That is the last one. I will be like the Most High. So I will be like God. Yeah. So this would be a blatant violation of the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Exodus 20. Okay. So much so for the worship of Satan and Lucifer. I did do hours of comparison and all the things. Yeah. You see, European Union, United States, and China. What do they all have in common? Huh?
5-pointed stars, yeah.
What do they all have in common? Yeah, and why 5-pointed stars? You can say, oh yeah, they're admirer of the Venus.
They look pretty, Michael.
Therefore, there would be no Christians, because they would admire Roman symbols or Roman goddesses. Huh?
Yeah.
Great. And it's the same here. You see, these are Luciferian or satanic pentagrams. I see that it's been seen as a depiction for witchcraft, sorcery. Yeah? And of course, this is also 666 symbol. Yeah, so you got it both ways. There's a pentagram and you get a 666. You got the famous colors of Satanism, which are red for the sin and the blood, and black for, of course, the absence of light. Yeah, that's what David Bowie is absolutely fond of. He even wrote his name in letters from the pentagram. So this is David Bowie. Yeah, and it's the same here on the cards of the magician from the tarot table. Yeah, you see here the coin. You see with the pentagram on top. Of course, this is a magician.
Oh, I always think it's the Eucharist, Michael. You know, the chalice and the Eucharist. That's what I see, but.
No, this is just a magician. Of course, a priest is a magician, as we have found out in our Magi sessions of Science is the New Religion. Yeah, sure. But actually, they tell you that it is a magician, and it's the first card. Actually, that is the second card. This is also tossing people around. This is the second card of the tarot. The first card is a fool. And by no accident, but I think you can come up, you come across the meaning, I think, for yourself. I got a special meaning about the cards. Of course, the cards are to invite spirits. This is the actual meaning of the card games. It is entertainment. Entertainment means to entertain mentally. Yeah, and so you can invoke spirits by using cards. Yeah, this is
different kind of entertainment, we might add.
Yeah, but it's entertainment.
Esoteric
nevertheless.
one, yes.
Nevertheless, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also here you got the infamous pentagram of Goethe Faust, Singulum Salomonis. Yeah, the seal of Solomon, actually in German. You got here the famous depiction of the Venus. This is the Venus symbol here. Yeah. You got the sun symbol, you got Saturn as Satan, of course. Yeah, you got Venus, you got Saturn, you got the sun, of course. You got INRI. Got so many things here going on.
Yeah,
but
that's a Latin phrase, Michael, that we find in churches too. Yeah. When you see a crucifix, or maybe just even an innocent looking stained glass depiction of the crucifix with the INRI in it, and if you go into a church like that, I would run away.
Yeah, but this is just, you see that here is a satanic pentagram of Goethe Faust, and the spirit he invoked is called Mephistopheles, because he was a wise guy. Dr. Faust, he was an academic, yeah, he was a professed one, of course. This is a Greek, yeah, the Greek psychology, Greek medicine, Greek philosophy, and so he invoked a Greek spirit called Mephistopheles. Yeah, this is just a satanic pentagram, so he invoked one of the devils, of course. And then he had a pact with the devil, etc., etc. So if it's this way around or that way around, this is a satanic pentagram, this is a Luciferian pentagram. Yeah. So, but it is the symbol of the United States, China, and the European Union. Happy congratulations. And this is very common today. You see that this was being used by the so-called, by the actors. I say actors because I cannot take them seriously, by the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey, which in my humble opinion is Jesuitically trained, so, to keep the focus away from the Roman Catholic Church and the Jesuits to the so-called Church of Satan and its companions. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so.
That's his job then. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah,
right.
It's just a job. Yes.
Sure.
It's his job. Yeah. So you see that here the famous or infamous Eliphas Levi, which also was in alchemy. Yeah, solve and coagula, bind and dissolve. This is just, of course, it's gender. Yeah, it's male, it's female, it's man, it's animal, it's dark, it's bright, it's dark, and it's everything in everything. Yeah, so everything is possible. 60 genders, everything is possible. This is everything, and he's a scapegoat. Yes. So that was my little thing which I did years ago. So We know it's been used in alchemy. Because the fifth element, of course, the quintessence, the quintessential element, of course, is spirit. Yeah, so everything relies on a spirit. You cannot act without thinking. You cannot act unless you've been influenced by a spirit. Yeah, so that you have to make a decision before you move. Oh, I have to eat. Okay, then I decide that I go outside to go to catch up a pizza or what else. So when I'm talking about the Luciferian spirit, actually, it's about the advising company of the United Nations. For example, the Lucy's Trust, a non-profit service organization founded in 1922 by Alice Bailey and her husband. They include an arcane school, so about secrets. And I think we covered that in the Science is the New Religion series already, but I think it is very interesting to cover it again. In the series of a Satanic and Luciferian spirit. It was once being founded as the Lucifer's publishing company and later on recalled as Lucy's Trust, so that you don't see that as Lucifer quite often. And the name has been attributed to the Bailey study of theosophical teachings that Lucifer, the archangel, brought intelligence to mankind. First of all, Lucifer was a cherub. So, but the thing is, though, that it's the same line as in the Bible. It says that Satan is disguised as an angel of light, and that's absolutely theosophy. It's a mixture of everything. It's theology and philosophy and everything else. It's actually a successor of the Thomas Aquinas, Summa Theologica, because he's also mixing theology together with philosophy from Greece. But nevertheless, what's interesting here is that they refer to several spirits. And this is not the obvious thing. Very obvious is that you only have a very, very short article about that. Yeah, so a very, very short article about that Lucy's Trust, which is a major company, and that has been, in my humble opinion, much restricted from the public eye. Yeah, so therefore, Lucifer's publishing company, of course, wants to show you or sell you Satan as Lucifer, as the good guy, which is the same concept, of course, as the television series Lucifer. But that's actually the problem. Yeah, that's absolutely the problem, because she is a Luciferian and therefore she is worshipping Lucifer-Satan. Lucifer, the light bearer. Yeah. So it's always Satan selling himself as being Lucifer. Yeah, you see the good one, which he isn't. And Lucifer does not exist anymore because it was just, as I said, a profession. Yeah, and so that Alice Bailey, if you go to Alice Bailey, she speaks about great invocation. Yeah, so it is a mantra given in 1937 by Bailey. From the point of light within the mind of God, God has no copyright, can mean anything, let light stream forth into the minds of man. Now, the return of the Christ, Maitreya, and the meeting in accordance with the plan of God. The New Age movement. Yeah, you see the Age of Reason, you see the Age of Horus, you see all the things coming together. It had nothing to do with the Bible, of course. It cannot have anything to do with the Bible because these people are in the Antichrist spirit. Yeah. What really interesting is that she's depicting here some interesting remarks, some interesting things which are in line with science, races, evolution. And what she's up to is the implementation of spirits. Yeah? UFO. No, this is wrong, but where it is to buy. I cannot type anymore. Not mentioned here? Alice Bailey. Describe a wide-ranging neo-theosophical system of esoteric thought covering such topics how spirituality relates to the solar system. You know what? There is deception already. There is no solar system. Meditation, healing, spiritual psychology, the destiny of nations, and prescriptions for society in general. She describes the majority of her work as having been telepathically dictated to her by a master of wisdom. You see, professing to be wise, they became fools. Romans 1:22. Initially referred to only as the Tibetan or by the initials D.K. Later identified as Dwai Kul. Her writings bore some similarity to those of Madame Blavatsky, sure, same source of spirit, and among the teachings often referred to the age's wisdom. Yeah, including the concept of the age of Aquarius. You know, that has nothing to do with the musical hair. They are just making fun of it. They're just for entertainment. Actually, it's about theosophical. It's about Luciferianism. Yeah. So what's about Dwai Kul? Jeval. It's hard to. Yeah. This is just the only reference. So go to Dwai Kul. Yeah. Believed to be, you know, rumor has it, legend says, believed to be a Tibetan disciple in the tradition of ancient esoteric spirituality known as the Ageless Wisdom Tradition, a member of the spiritual hierarchy Brotherhood Mahatma. Yeah, Mahatma means a great soul, like Mahatma Gandhi. One of the masters, called No Man Your Master, because there's only one master, which is Jesus Christ. So it's all against the Bible, of course. Divined as spiritual guides of mankind and teachers of ancient cosmological, metaphysical, esoteric principles, so all blatant lies. Dwai Kul is said to work. Yeah, you see, there is no proof, it's just been quoting here, on further the spiritual evolution of our planet, which is no planet because it's not moving, through the teaching offered in the 24 books by Alice Bailey of Esoteric Teachings published by the Lucis Trust, then named the Lucifer's Publishing Company. So it's Luciferian. Yeah, theosophical societies are actually Luciferian societies. The majority of it. He is said to have telepathically transmitted the teachings to Bailey and is thus regarded by our followers as the communications directors of the masters of the ancient wisdom. Maybe now you have the idea why the United Nations in New York is carrying a big meditation room, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so these are just evil spirits, Mr. Cool, who does not exist. Yeah. And he appeared in the work of Blavatsky. Of course, they are all just in the same spirit, conspiring against people, us, leading people astray. And he's not a Tibetan disciple of a certain degree. That's all BS. It's all BS. Yeah, telepathically dictated to her by Dwai Kul, whom she referred to as the Tibetan. Yeah. You see that everybody can claim anything. That is unbelievable, but people absolutely, their followers, they agree. And this is an advising company to the United Nations. Of course, the doctrine of the United Nations is to bring Luciferian spirit, yeah? So maybe the quote of Mr. David Spangler is correct, which we have read in the beginning of the session. Everybody shall be in the Luciferian spirit. Yeah. So Bailey writes that Dwai Kul considers himself a disciple of a certain degree in a spiritual non-physical ashram of the master Code Homi, who is considered by theosophists and other students of Alice Bailey's book to be another member of the same spiritual hierarchy of advanced beings. C.W. Leadbeater, that's the member of the Freemasonry author on occult, etc., a member of the Theosophical Society. He claimed that he saw Dwai Kul teleport into a room in which he and Madame Blavatsky were sitting. The source is the masters and the path are there. So you don't have to believe the people, but what it is it is a spirit. It is just a spirit. It is not an existing man or a pupil or a professed one, nothing else. It is just pure doctrine, Luciferian doctrine, by the name of Dwai Kul and Code Homi and all the people who never existed. They're just like Azazel, they're just names of spirit. Yeah? Published for the Lucis Trust. This is official doctrine published and promoted by the United Nations. And you thought that the United Nations would be about peace on earth? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we will have. We already got the world empire. We already got the world government. It's called the United Nations. And it's been founded in 1945, almost 80 years ago. Yeah, you see, his previous incarnations were Caspar, one of the three wise men. Yeah, sure, Caspar. Great. Where is the Bible mentioning Caspar? Nowhere. Yeah. So the master, Code Homi, also never existed. Yeah, skeptics have said as a hoax. Yeah, sure, it's a hoax, but it's just a portrayal of Code Homi. I just want to point out that everything is going on is according to Ephesians 6:10. It's a spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare. It's nothing more, nothing less. It's spiritual warfare that's going on. And it's a conspiration. They're all in the same spirit. Be it Madame Blavatsky, be it Albert Pike, be it the Freemasonry, be it the Luciferian, be it the Satanici, be it Alice Bailey.
Michael, it's not inspiration, it's conspiration.
Did I say inspiration?
No, I'm just saying that
yeah.
If you think about it, inspiration is the same at the end.
Yes.
To inspire versus to conspire. Just a thought.
Yeah. Yeah, Blavatsky claimed that Code Homi visited Europe. Yeah, sure, it's a spirit. He's not bound to matter. He is not bound. He must have no COVID pass. Oh, I said the word. Yeah, you see, there's all these liars with their doctrines of devils. Yeah, it is doctrine of devils because Code Homi as well as Dwight Cool, they're all names of devils. Yeah. For example, Code Homi claimed to have been an Indian, not a Tibetan who studied in Germany, yet he did not speak German, Hindi or Punjabi. He spoke French and English, but wrote them using the overline characteristic of Russians who write in English or French. The other Mahatma, Master Moya, had a weakness for pipe smoking, something that was strictly forbidden in Tibet. Both these masters supposedly lived in Tibet. Other inconsistencies, obvious now, were not enough to alert Synod that he was being hoaxed. Yeah, and so it goes on and on and on. And they claim that, oh, they're also enlightened. These are the people, these are liars, putting out doctrines of liars. So if you use the name Code Homi or you use other names of doctrines and devils, you see like, for example, most prominent maybe Azazel, Hebrew name of a demon of the desert. Yeah, it just, of course, of the apocryphal book of Enoch. Yeah, so that we have talked about that his association as a fallen angel responsible, blah, 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 etc., etc. Yeah, so that what I just want to point out, these are just, it's the same. Yeah, these are just hypothetical names of angels. Maybe they were received on the telepathically path to Madame Blavatsky and Alice Bailey. I don't know, and I don't care. Yeah, that's not a big deal. But it's just that you have to see that it is just a spiritual thing going on. That's why I wanted to point out that it's all a Luciferian show which is going on here, with the help of Lucy Strauss and others, with the help of society, with the help of entertainment, Hollywood, United Nations, name anybody. It's just always the same. It's always the same. These are just spirits. Yeah, so they are in the same spirit. They are conspiring. It's conspiration, and this is not a conspiration theory. Yeah, these are the people like Lucy Strauss are coming up with spiritual theories and conspiration. Actually, these people are conspiring, blaming other people that we are the conspiracy theorists. No, they cannot prove their claims. They cannot prove that Dwight Cool, Code Homi, and any other people ever existed.
Michael, what you're saying is the same thing the conspiracy article said. It's a matter of faith.
It's a matter of faith, yes.
It's a matter of faith. They're not gonna explain it the way Michael and I do, because they have a different faith now, don't they?
Yeah.
They believe in the hierarchy. They want it to stay. They think that this is gonna be heaven on earth. Sorry, other way around. This is hell on earth.
These are light beings, yeah, the risen master. Yeah, the risen master, and has nothing to do with the comforter in the Bible. And so therefore this is just my official from 2.5 years ago, my official German video. Lucifer from ancient times until now. Yeah, so this is just all BS. This is all BS. Yeah, 7 rays, and so these are just some artists who are presenting Lucifer. This is Satan falling, once called Lucifer. Yeah, from David Gilmour, Pink Floyd, Rattle That Lock, Paradise Lost, the infamous novel. Yeah, this is Pink Floyd, Prisoner, Martyr, and Shine. It's about Satan. Wish you were here. Alan Parsons, Lucifer, with the SOS Morse code in the beginning. So Synagogue of Satan. Yeah, so that's it. Why they are mourning here. Yeah. So they're sad because Lucifer has fallen. Yeah. What other explanation would make sense, Brett, other than that? When it's called Lucifer, and you see that 2 women here. Yeah, 2 women here who are mourning about Lucifer. It's about Lucifer. It's right in the eye. Yeah. So Alan Parsons' project is a pure Luciferian doctrine. Same goes, of course, for Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin itself is active. You see that here as the ship, which is almost exploding or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to go down like a Led Zeppelin. That's how they came up with the name.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, and you see that fallen angel here, the wings dissolving here, or debris or something like this. You see that he's going down, not up. You know, so it's not stairway to heaven, but stairway
from heaven. Yeah,
falling from heaven. Yeah,
that's right. Look at the 2. One on the left, one on the right.
Yeah.
Warning.
Yeah. So why don't use this here, because I have done that before. Yeah. Yeah. So these are all just these examples. Yeah. Lucifer in disguise with diamonds. Yeah, and by no accident, you see here the famous or infamous Satanist Aleister Crowley here depicted as an idol of the Beatles. Lucifer in disguise with diamonds. Yeah. Yeah, how obvious it must be. You see that in Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones, there is one of the main lines is Lucifer is my name. So you ask yourself, why are the Rolling Stones that much successful? Where do they got their inspiration of? Huh? I can't get, no. It's pure egoism. It's pure Luciferianism. Sympathy for the devil. Yeah. What else? Yeah, but it's wrong, because it's not his name anymore. Yeah, his name is now Satan. So that's also a lie. Huh?
It is.
When liars are speaking a lie, of course, what else do we expect? This is the famous band ABBA from Sweden. The cover of The Visitors. I think it was 34 sessions about ABBA. It's a pure Luciferian project, because one of the key members, this Björn Ulvaeus, is member of a Greek Letter Society member. And here you see a depiction. It's just called an angel. He's called Eros. Yeah, but it's not Eros, because Eros has no burned wings. Huh? Yeah, and so this, of course, is Lucifer once again. So the visitors means demons. Yeah, so Eros is a Satan with burned wings. So this is just once Lucifer, now Satan. Yeah, it's
also mean the fallen angels, Michael.
Yeah, and absolutely. What many people do not know when we step back in our little slideshow here. It is very interesting to know in that regard. I don't know when it will start with Led Zeppelin, because ABBA and Led Zeppelin, there were, not that nobody believes that, there were in Sweden, I think it was in Stockholm, where Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, together with Björn and Benny from ABBA, they were visiting prostitutes. Yeah. So there is a connection between Led Zeppelin and ABBA, because Led Zeppelin has recorded one album in the studios of ABBA, the Polar Studios, which were then extremely modern. I think, I don't know, they had 24-track machines and the first digital equipment, etc. in the beginning of the 80s, and so they were very much high-end equipped there. And so there is also a direct collaboration between Led Zeppelin and between ABBA. Yeah, although
really?
yeah, absolutely, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's in an autobiography. It's or in the biography about Robert Plant. Absolutely, he said that they were going to to prostitutes, and he was showing off how potent he was, and yeah, that's in the official biography of Robert Plant. Robert Plant, ABBA. Prostitute. Yeah. Robert Plant once claimed that he went to a sex club with ABBA's Benny Bjorn and Bjorn to run away from their wives. Yep. But I read it in the official, or not. I don't know if it was an official, but I read it in a biography. Yes. And it's absolutely correct that Robert Plant or Led Zeppelin had produced an album at the ABBA studios. Led Zeppelin Polar Studios. Yeah. Yeah. Among the albums to have been recorded at the studio are Led Zeppelin's In Through the Outdoor and Genesis Duke. Genesis Duke, you know. Oh yeah, we went into that. Huh? Yes, windows are opening. Yeah. In Through the Outdoor. Yeah, you see, that has nothing to do with spirits. In Through the Outdoor. Yeah, they're on Luciferian spirit. All Luciferian spirit. Because Lucy sounds much more nicer than devil or Satan, huh? You shall be as gods, a tree to desire to make one wise. They're all the same. Different music, different age, different time, but all the same. Satan means the adversary. I think that we have talked much about this book of Job, yeah, from walking to and from the earth. Yeah, so I think I can skip many things here. This is just Wikipedia. It's not important. What's important is that he then grants wealth, success, and glory to the people who are worshipping Satan. The love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, of course, sure, because the main conspiracy in the Bible, of course, is the plot against Jesus Christ or against God and His anointed in the second Psalms, and also, of course, the betrayal of Jesus Christ by the high priest and scribes by the intervention or due to the intervention of Judas Iscariot for 30 coins of silver. So it has something to do with material things, with money. So the love of money is the root of all evil. And now you compare that, please, with Judas Iscariot, who received 30 coins of silver. The love of money. But he repented. Judas Iscariot later repented. I think he suicided himself.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's not real repentance, Michael.
Yeah, I think I know, but I think that before he repented. So that was the little excursion of all the names, what's what, and now we go into full esteem to the application in our day and age, in our real world. So, question: what does the Bible reveal about conspiracies? Well, you know, the conspiracy against Jesus Christ, or the conspiracy against God and His anointed. Sure, yeah. Or the conspiracy from Satan and the serpent against Eve. Or the conspiracy when it actually happened in heaven, that Satan was rebelling against God with a third of the angels. I think that's also where the majority in the parliament comes from, that you have a 2/3 majority to have a majority to have some laws, to put some laws in existence. But that's just my approach. So the Bible, what does the Bible reveal about conspiracies, Brett?
Oh, Acts 23:13. And they were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy, excuse me, yes.
Mm-hmm. So I cannot remember actually what is Acts 23 all about. Wasn't it the stoning of Stephen? Acts 23. It's a little bit late. I think the stoning of Stephen is much more earlier. So 23, was it against Paul, no? 23. Yeah, you see, it is to kill Paul. Yeah, it is to kill Paul. There were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy. So the Bible explicitly talks about conspiracy in the absolute meaning of the word, meaning to kill somebody. That's why we will later on, if we have progressed during the sessions here, we will go into, I think, the most famous assassination of all times. You can guess what it is. Okay, so that's that, 23:13. Once again, it is about Revelation 12, when Satan was fighting in heaven and was being thrown down. Actually, he wasn't only thrown down because he was being blamed. He lost in heaven, and therefore he was cast down to the ground. Yeah, the ground means the earth. So Revelation 12. And then Revelation 12 and Revelation 20, you see, then all the titles of Satan are being combined here. It's the great red dragon. The dragon, we know that is once again the dragon and his angels. And the dragon is the same as the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. So the only thing which is missing here is Lucifer, because this is just mentioned in Isaiah. And once again, Lucifer and Satan are just professions. So what to make up out of it? Well, if people accuse us of being strange people, of being fundamentalist, or being racist, or what else, you see that there are many, many, many very dangerous doctrines out there which have been taught to little children. For example, the origin of species by means of natural selections, or the preservations of favored races in the struggle for life. Aha. So, you see what I mean? I mean, that has nothing to do with the Bible, because God loves all people, despite of age, sex, color, skin, health status, whatsoever. Yeah, we are all coming from one creator. We are not coming from evolution. Evolution says that you are absolutely unimportant, that you are just a production machine, and if you're not necessary anymore, they can get rid of you. I'm not joking. That's my absolute conviction. If I compare the evolution theory with the story of creation of the Bible. So you decide what kind of information path you would like to follow. Or actually, it is God who decides that. But that for some listeners, I think it is too far-fetched to point it out that there are no coincidences. Okay, so then let's look it up. What's coming up? You see, because I mentioned here Charles Darwin with the struggle for life of the favored races, because the favored races was one key thing in the Third Reich. The Nazis, they used the favored races. They said that, oh yeah, we are the Aryan race, and therefore every other race has to be inferior to us. So that means, also that, imagine, that means Jesus Christ was a Jew. As a son of God, in the flesh, he was a Jew. So that also the Third Reich would be against Jesus Christ once again. So, and Jesus Christ as the center of the Bible, because the Old Testament as well as the New Testament, both speaking of Jesus Christ as the Son of God, as the Savior of mankind, as the only way to the Father, and as the salvation. So he was crucified. By whom? By whom? Yeah, well, the Jewish people shouted to Herod, Barabbas, Barabbas. Yeah, when he were asked if he should free Jesus, it's called Barabbas, I think it was. Huh? With double B. Barabbas. Maybe that will fit. Once again. Okay.
Finally, okay.
Yeah, okay, with double B. Yeah, so this Barabbas. So this was the choice of the people because, of course, why did they shout Barabbas? Because the majority of people are in the Antichrist Spirit on the broad way, which leaded to destruction. Therefore, they shout the majority of people. Yeah, the crowd shouted Barabbas, of course. Huh? It's nothing would change 2,000 years later, I think. Oh, we are approaching 2,000 years later quite soon. We are approaching 2,000 years later quite soon. So by whom was Jesus Christ crucified? Well, by people who are being known for conspiracies. And these are the Romans. Julius Caesar, a Roman general statesman, the first of the first triumvirate, 3 major politicians. He led the armies, etc., etc., and he was being a victim of an assassination in the year 44 before Christ, BC. So there was an assassination of Caesar. His assassination. So therefore we go to the assassination of Julius Caesar. Now, the Roman dictator was assassinated by a group of senators on the Ides of March, 15th of March, on 44 before Christ, during a meeting of the Senate of the Curia of Pompey, of the Theatre of Pompey in Rome. The senators stabbed Caesar 23 times. The senators, multitude, meaning a conspiracy. The senators claimed to be acting over fears that Caesar's unprecedented concentration of power during his dictatorship was undermining the Roman Republic and presented the deed as an act of tyrannicide. So to get rid of E-I-N-R-I. It is just to stab dictators. At least 60 senators were party to the conspiracy, led by Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius Longinus. Despite the death of Caesar, the conspirators were unable to restore the institution of the Republic, and so on and so forth. So these were 60 people involved, with 23 stabbings. So multiple knives, of course. So there was a conspiracy. So that is one confirmed, officially confirmed conspiracy. Yeah, it's just not one lone nut. Nobody who's hiding in a hole in Afghanistan. Yeah, this is just a conspiracy of 60 senators with 23 attempts to kill and end the life of the dictator Julius Caesar, which was very successful. And so that is the key. That there I started my research because it happened actually in Rome before Christ. So they were making in Rome conspiracies against somebody who was not in line with the politics of the time, so to speak. Because when I go back to the official Wikipedia page of Gaius Julius Caesar, I came across this. His populist and authoritarian reforms angered the elites who began to conspire against him. So who are the elites? Well, the elites, what the Bible is talking us about, that Judas Iscariot went to achieve his goal of 30 coins of silver, are the priests and the scribes.
Interesting. They say elites here, but...
elites. That's it.
Isn't that interesting?
And then when you know, and that is a crucial information, now we have to get back to the script, because we could do sessions about Caesar, of course, it's very interesting, nevertheless. The name Caesar, Caesar was born 100 before Christ, then he had a wedding, then he was going back to Rome, 78, and then in 73 before Christ, he had the title of Pontifex. And in 63 before Christ, he had the title of Pontifex Maximus. Caesar was elected Pontifex Maximus in 63 before Christ. That means the highest bridge builder. Bridge builder means the one between heaven and earth. So like the magician in the tarot card play games. Yeah. And so that he has the absolute rulership. There's somebody carrying a fasci behind him. And so that he has the staff, he is reigning, he has also the laurels here. And so he has been seen as king of the state and God as the same person. Does that remind you of something? So that absolutely means that the Pope is the successor of Caesar, and not by coincidence in the same country. Yeah, you see that the Pontifex Maximus inscription here, or engravement here on the floor, is absolutely in the Vatican, Pontifex Maximus, and that is the old title of Caesar. So that means that the Pope claims himself of being Caesar. There's a video from our brother Jörg Lissmann on his channel, The Papacy is the Antichrist, Vatican Control Through Civil Law, from Richard Bennett, where he was quoting All Hail Caesar. Pope Pius IX in his Discorsi on page 253, he says, quote, "The Caesar who now addresses you and to whom alone are obedience and fidelity due," unquote. So the Pope himself, or at least Pope Pius IX, he was claiming to be Caesar, and that would make absolutely sense, because usually, I think I'm not speaking for every Pope, but usually the papacy claims to have the title of Pontifex Maximus, to have the title of the great bridge builder, at least in 2005, that quite actually, yeah, it's just 70 years ago. And this, up to my knowledge, yeah, this floor has not been shattered or being constructed again. Yeah, so that most likely will remain in the Vatican up to this very day. So this is the Caesar. So the Pope is in his succession, and the Pope also is the head of state and God, or the the replacement of God, of Jesus Christ, the in the position of Christ. But we know that Satan is Antichrist, because the Bible speaks. I think it is in the epistles of John, if I remember correct, that's been speaking that the spirit of Antichrist is you see that 1 John 2:18. Would you care to read it, Brett?
Sure. It reads, "Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time."
Yeah, so much for futurism, huh? Or what, do you have another idea?
Oh no, it's the Jesuits had
the spirit of Antichrist was already almost everywhere since the fall of the Garden of Eden on this earth. Yeah, so the spirit of Antichrist could not be destroyed by the flood. Yeah, only flesh could be destroyed by the flood, but not the spirit. That's it. And so that there are many antichrists, meaning there are many people in the Antichrist spirit. It is not the man of sin, because at the time when Jesus Christ was on this earth, there were no papacy. Yeah, but there were still many people in the Antichrist spirit. For example, or prominent example, Judas Iscariot. And of course, the definition of being Antichrist is just one verse below in 1 John 2:22, Brett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is 1 John 2:22 reads, "Who is a liar but he that denieth that Jesus is the Christ? He is Antichrist that denieth the Father and the Son."
Yeah, and had Pope Francis in the United States, hadn't he commented that Jesus Christ failed on the cross?
Ah, that's right. Wasn't that at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York?
I cannot remember that.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you see that the spirit of Antichrist was 2,000 years ago also present. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, and now the Pope claims to be head of state and the replacement of Christ on earth. He's just defining Antichrist because anti is a word which can have several meanings. That's the problem. But actually, that when he says that he's the Pontifex Maximus, then he claims to be God and king, because Caesar had nothing to do. The Pontifex Maximus title of Caesar, going back, has nothing to do with Jesus Christ, right? Because Jesus Christ was not yet born. 63 before Christ is very good proof that Jesus Christ was not born, I'd say. So Pontifex Maximus means the pagan god and the pagan head of gods, and also the ruler of a state in one person. And when the Pope claims we are the Pontifex Maximus, and I know there are some discussions going on that he says, oh no, I reject the title now. But you see, this has been engraved here, so it's been used for centuries. Yeah, the title Pontifex Maximus. Yeah, and that's it. Also, Pope Pius IX says he's a Caesar. So they are the successors of the head of the Roman Empire. And there is no other empire than the Roman Empire, because Jesus Christ said these are the last days. And if you compare it with the metalman figure of Daniel, then you see it is just the Roman Empire still in power. Still in power. So, once again, I go back to the German script of Julius Caesar. There were more than 18 senators who were being initiated in this assassination plan, but there were no traitors. Yeah? So for people to say that, oh, the conspiracy cannot take place because everybody would know something and somebody will speak out. No. No. Mm-mm. No. Sometimes it is more revealing that people don't say anything. I remember about the press conference of Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins after the allegedly were on the moon, sawing no stars. Maybe they had dark sunglasses. Huh? Maybe. Okay, so more than 60 people, the German Wikipedia says more than 60 people were being busy with the stabbing or with the assassination on Julius Caesar. 60 against 1. It's a bit unfair. It's a bit unfair. So he was being warned by Haruspex Spurina, but yeah, nevertheless, that is just it's just happened as it is. Yeah. So this is a just full end of a tyrant, said Cicero in Ad Atticum 14:4. Interesting, huh? Marcus Tulio, a political opponent of Caesar, but who was not participating on that assassination. He witnessed the stabbing, and later he wrote a letter to his friend Titus Pomponinus Atticus. This, quote, this is the rightful end of a tyrant, quote unquote, Cicero. So therefore, the murder on a Caesar has been also be depicted as a murder of a tyrant. Yeah, and so therefore I came up with the quote INRI, Justum Neca Regis Impius, Latin flag or Jesuit flag. It is just to exterminate and annihilate impious or heretical kings, governments, or rulers. Yeah, because it has been depicted as a mort of a tyrant, and that would be okay. Do you remember, we will later come across that, when it is about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, that this John, help me out, John Wilcox Booth?
Yes.
Yeah, he said, "Sic semper tyrannis."
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
That's the same reference here about the killing of Caesar.
Isn't that something?
And you see that I and an I, that's the problem actually with all these abbreviations. This is a page of the complete Golden Dawn system of occult magic, meaning sorcery, satanic things, etc. And you see that here it's not by coincidence that crown has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got the 5 types of Satanism. You got INRI, which has nothing to do with Jesus, but everything to do with Justus Neca Regis Impius. Because of course all these occult services, orders, of course, they're also being infiltrated by Jesuits, Freemasons, etc. Yeah. So by no coincidence, you got here strange animals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so that is the problem with it. Yeah, and even I found that artifact. I said, oh, that's very strange. Yeah, Justus Neca Regis Impius on a gun or revolver. What else that is, I don't know. But this looks like a trigger.
Oh, it looks like a machine gun, Gatling gun. Look at the left side.
This chamber here. What else? No? Yeah, this unbelievable, huh? This is INRI. So conspiracy is coming from mid 14th century, plotting of evil. So it has to do with evil. A combination of persons, so more than one, for an evil purpose. A plot to breathe together, it comes from, to breathe together. So it is a combined word, like Lucifer, it's to conspire. It's very important here. It's absolutely important that we know what a conspiracy is, or conspiration is. A conspiracy theory is of course an event involving many people in the same mindset who was doing an evil plot, to speak it broadly. And it's coming from James Ford Rhodes, The Conspiracy Theory and History of the United States from the Compromise of 1850. So it's much more older than you might think it is, 20th century or so. No, it is much more older. Actually, it is very old. But this is absolutely crucial to know. This is just German. This is crucial to know because conspire means, yeah, so from conspiration, the verb, yeah, from the noun conspiration, the verb conspire, yeah, con means to plan maliciously, agree together to commit a criminal or reprehensible act. From Latin conspire, that means to agree, to unite, and literally to breathe together. That's the thing, yeah, to breathe together. So two people who are in the same breath, or two people who are in the same mindset, two people who have got the same ideas, two people who are in the same spirit, because, okay, of course, spirare comes from to breathe, comes from spirit. So con means agree together, and spire means spirit. So to agree together to being together in the same spirit. Of course, if you got a conspiration running, you need to have the people to agree to all to be in the same spirit, to all to have the same idea. People have different functions, but they are in the same mindset. Of course, if they are in an evil mindset, so that's what they all agree on. And we know that conspire usually is being depicted as very evil. So that's it, to breathe together. We use these words daily, but we don't think about what it actually means. Yeah, and it comes from spirit, so it is a spiritual thing. If a conspiration takes place, then it is absolutely necessary that the people are in the same spirit, because that is what conspire means. Yeah? So to breathe together has nothing to do with having the same ideas together, because if you just breathe together with somebody, all the people of this world, all the so-called allegedly billions of people are breathing together, but they don't share the same idea. So it is a spiritual thing, in my humble opinion. Yeah, so spirit. Spirit means breath of God. Yeah, from the breath. Yeah, so it is a spiritual thing, actually. Because spirit actually means supernatural, immaterial creature, angel, demon. An apparition, invisible, corporeal being of an airy nature. Yeah, so I don't think it is far-fetched to suppose that it could have something to do with evil spirits, meaning fallen angels, or servants of the Antichrist, or servants of Satan, or fallen angels, or demons, or devils, what you like to call it, but all are in the Antichrist satanic spirit. Once again, I don't care. Somebody says, oh, just a Luciferian. Yeah, you're worshipping somebody who has who has lost his job. Yeah, so what? You've been fooled. Yeah, so that is conspiration. Yeah, spiritus means a breathing, a breath of a God, inspiration, breath of life. Inspiration means to be in the spirit. Yeah, because if you want to have an inspiration, you want to have an idea. Oh, what could I invent? What kind of a song could I write? So then you ask for spiritual support. To be in the same spirit, high spirit, arrogant spirit, esprit, as is the French word of it. Yeah, spirit to make more active or energetically. This is just the German. Yeah. So in conspiracy, we know that conspiracy means to breathe together or to be together in the same spirit. Actually, and theory means a contemplation. From thea means if you see theater. Yeah, and theory comes from theros, means the Zuschauer, the viewer, yeah, in the theater. And so it is very crucial to know that we are using the right terms, that we're using the right nouns, the right verbs, the right meaning, the right original meaning of it, because we know that they want to destroy language quite soon. Yeah, the so-called third commandment of the Georgia Guidestone has been mentioned, that unite humanity with a living new language. Yeah, that's the point. So they want to get rid of English. They want to get rid of German. They want to get rid of Latin. They want to have a new language where they can define what it actually means, so that you cannot think if it's good or bad or what. They will determine what meaning it has. So this is Newspeak. This is George Orwell as in his prime. And also, in this monument here, with the looks, of course, like stone tables, like Moses received from God in Exodus. Of course, it's been said that these guide stones, let these be guide stones to an age of reason. Yeah, so age of reason, of course, huh? It had nothing to do with God. No, it's just reason. Yeah, so that they define what's right and wrong and what's reasonable. Yeah, so these are the Georgia guide stones. We talked about that in our introduction session of Science is the New Religion in session 1. So I don't have to repeat everything else, but you see that maintain humanity under 500 million, unite humanity with a living new language, huh? And leave room for nature, so that many people will be obsolete. And maybe they will sell it as the 4th Industrial Revolution, I don't know. But what I know is that nothing happens by accident. And so these are the laws of the age of reason. When people try to be as gods. Yeah, it's the same disobedience. Setting the people a traitor like Guy Fawkes as a hero. Yeah, it's always the other way around. Always. I don't have to go into this because you see that God knows the superstition, but what do people know? What they get right is that it has something to do with the pentagram and satanic and 666, but you see that won't help you in the end. The only thing which will help you in the end is Jesus Christ. Therefore, people and governments, you would usually, all experts and scientists, I don't repeat anything I said in 83 or 85 sessions so far, they say that don't question authority. It's an argumentum ad verecundiam. Yeah, so it's an argument of authority. Yeah, authority, but for itself is no guarantee for truth. That's the problem. Yeah, so when here the German expert of the current situation says that, oh, these standards may never be questioned. Yeah, Professor Dr. Lothar Wheeler says, oh, these standards may never be questioned. Don't dare. Huh? Do not question authority. Yeah, it's like and they live. Just be happy. Just consume. Do not question authority. Submit. No imagination. Stay asleep. They needed a glass. You see, that is the same thing here. That is their God. That's their God. Consummation, pleasure, entertainment, conformity, television. Just stay asleep. In our virtual reality, actually, of Satan, to entertain you, to spoil you. Do not question authority. Yeah. Therefore, Noah also was a conspiracy theorist, unless it started to rain. Sometimes it takes a lot amount of time to prove a theory. But in the case of Noah and his 7 other people, he made the right decision. But of course, it's just a narrow way. That's why he didn't build a big ocean liner. He built an ark with all the animals and with the remaining faithful people on Earth to survive the big flood, which also has been inscribed and been taught in major religion and history around the Earth. So it is not only limited to the Bible. But Wikipedia, especially in German, says that the conspiracy is a secret collaboration of several peoples, and this sense is negative. So conspiracy also has been used as negative. So that's also what the English Wikipedia tells you. No? Wikipedia tells you a conspiracy theory is an explanation for an event that invokes a conspiracy by sinister and powerful groups, often political in motivation, when other explanations are more probable. This term has a negative connotation, implying that the appeal to a conspiracy is based on prejudice or insufficient evidence. Conspiracy theory is not the same as a conspiracy. Instead, it refers to a hypothesized conspiracy with specific characteristics, such as an opposition to the mainstream consensus among those people, such as scientists or historians, who are qualified to evaluate its accuracy. What do you make out of it? So that means it is a conspiracy if it has been issued by somebody who is not in the mainstream consensus, because only scientists and historians are qualified to evaluate the theory. So if they say that the sun is green, the sun is green. Because you have to obey authority. It's an argumentum ad verecundiam here. It's an argument of authority. It has nothing to do with truth. That's the thing. So the general John Doe, the general people on the street, or for example, just for an example, we take it biblically, the disciples of Jesus Christ, there were no experts. There were no scientists, no historians, no scribes, no priests. Yeah. So that would mean that only the Roman Empire, they got it right, because they had the mainstream. They ruled in Judea, in Palestine, and in the Near East, and all the regions there of the Roman Empire. So they had the consensus. Yeah, they were qualified to evaluate. But who are Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew, and all the other prophets? Who's David? Who's Saul? Who's Isaiah? Who's Daniel? Yeah, these are not scientists or historians. You see where actually also the line of the biblical approach is. You see that the people who were gathered together, they were honest people, with the exception of Judas Iscariot, of course, but they were honest people, and they didn't have a big degree, and they didn't had that scientific approach. I know that Luke was supposed to be a doctor, but so be it. The thing is that the majority of the disciples, they were just fishermen or else. My point actually is that the mainstream media, also including Wikipedia, of course, they tell you that everything is a conspiracy theory, and then when it's been mentioned a conspiracy theory, it has a negative connotation. So they blame you being a conspiracy theorist when it is not in line the mainstream consensus, and when you are no scientist or historian. Yeah, so that's the problem with it. Yeah, and then they come up with the old psychology explanations why people are have Nazism, paranoia, schizophrenia, insecure, blah, 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 blah. Of course, to blame the people who are not obeying the authorities. Yeah, of course, it's the eye of providence. It has something to do with the conspiracy. What do you think? That there are a majority of pyramids being visible in every American city, or what? So who's coming up with that idea? Using a Latin phrase, using an eye of providence or the all-seeing eye, or losing the illumination here, which looks like a symbol of the Jesuits, and a pyramid coming out of Egypt, and has been seen on many occasions, but not necessarily mainly in the United States of America. So you cannot use all the things because they toss you around. This is in the spirit of the Antichrist here. It had nothing to do with truth.
Well, isn't it interesting there where it says a little bit higher at the top of the page? Okay, the beginning of the sentence is definitely their viewpoint on it. Conspiracy theories resist falsification and are reinforced by circular reasoning. Both evidence against the conspiracy and the absence of evidence for it are reinterpreted as evidence of its truth, whereby the conspiracy becomes a matter of faith rather than something that can be proven or disproven. Interesting they mentioned that, huh, Michael?
It's a good find.
A matter of faith. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good find, Brett. It's just that 4 eyes do see more than 2.
Oh, no, I've been thinking about this for a moment here because they have to admit what they're doing in this article, but they do it in such a way where, yeah, you can't question authority. You can't question our authority because it's a matter of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in the hierarchy and you aren't. You see?
Yeah, that's also my prime example for the so-called AIDS denialism. Yeah, I got a very famous Nobel Prize winner called Luc Montagnier, who both claims that this thing was generated out of a lab, and who says that AIDS can be cured by just hygiene and some simple things. But you see that it won't be printed in the mass media or in the this is because that is not mainstream consensus. Yeah. So, for example, here, this is just a quote. AIDS denialism of the government of South Africa, motivated by conspiracy theories, caused an estimated 330,000 deaths from AIDS. Estimated. Yeah. So you cannot back it up. It is just it is not truth. Ask Kerry Mullins about AIDS. He says, "Oh no, what's what?" But my point.
Interesting you bring that up because there's, yeah. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, yeah. You see that it's propaganda actually. They accuse us of propaganda. They accuse us of propaganda. Yeah, conspiracy theories have closely been linked to prejudice, propaganda, witch hunts, wars, and genocide.
That's a good laugh.
Yeah, that's a really good laugh, huh?
Well, Michael, you kind of have to do your own historian research to really understand the real roots behind things. You see, that's kind of like I was saying earlier, Michael, the real truth really hurts. And, you know, when we accept the gift that Christ has given us and we allow him to show us the truth, then everything reads differently, doesn't it, Michael? Everything. It changes.
Yeah, because it's everything. A foundation which is different.
Yes.
See?
Yes. Yes. It's a foundational issue. Yes.
So these are just quotes. Yeah, this is nothing truth in it. You see, they come up with their what else to say? With their model. That's a model. It's like a psychology model. Has nothing to do with truth. It's just a model of somebody of that viewpoint. You could also make a conspiracy theory page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to infinite numbers. It's not the absolute truth. It's just the viewpoint of the mainstream consensus. That's it. Yeah, so that's what we know is conspiracy. So, but it is something evil. It's bad. In Germany, it's been in German. Wikipedia says that conspiracies were around. For example, of course, here Julius Caesar, or the Pazzi conspiracy against the Medici. We went into this in the Science is the New Religion series about session 40, 50 somewhere until the Watergate affair of 1972. Which led to the resigning of President Nixon. Yeah. Once again, Noah was a conspiracy theorist, accused by the mainstream consensus. Because the mainstream consensus in the days of Noah, yeah, you know, Sodom and Gomorrah, no, that was the mainstream consensus. Yeah, they laughed at him and said, what a stupid concept to buy a ship on dry land. Yeah, that was the mainstream consensus. That was maybe the quote of their scientists and historians. It says, nobody has ever built a ship on dry ground. Yeah, so that's the difference. Yeah, sometimes you have to have a hard breath. And what does the Bible say about us? They say that he, speaking of Satan and his disciples, he will wear out the patience of the saints,
of the saints of the Most High.
Saints of the Most High. Yeah, because we are eager to see the second coming of Christ. Yeah,
right.
But things.
And ye shall think to change times and laws. Yes.
Yeah, we have to be patient. We have to be patient. It will take a lot of time until Jesus Christ returns, in my humble opinion. But it's not about it's just about mercy. You see that many people can then draw back to God and Jesus Christ. It's about mercy. It has nothing to do with patience. Is not weakness. Patience is strength. And in my opinion. Yeah. So you see that sometimes, speaking of Roman Empire and Caesar, the Senat Populusque Romanum, the Roman Senate, with its laurels, and then you compare the United Nations with the laurels. What could be in common? What do they have in common? Yeah, the Roman Empire now is much more bigger than before. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But people usually want to enjoy their lives. The majority of them on the Broadway lead to destruction, want to enjoy life, have television and Netflix and thousands of distractions going on. Don't want to be bothered with the truth. Just like to obey, like to work, like to consume, like to submit, like to follow, like do not question authority. Money is their God. Stay asleep, doubt humanity. Yeah, conform, watch TV, money is your God, no ideas. And that was an old movie of the 1980s. They Live from John Carpenter, featuring Roddy Piper. Yeah, and we got a new form, with the same content, but a new form. Look at this. So you see that this is the sign of people who have to conform. No independent thought, could be dangerous, could even be lethal. Yeah. So you see that this is their God. It's fear. So watch TV, and when you watch TV, then oh, watch out. Yeah, death, misery, murder everywhere. There's nobody coming to get you. Oh yeah, dear listeners here, we have good news, and don't you worry, everything will be taken care of. And you just have to take your this, and you please go out and go a little bit out with your dog, and maybe you just jog a little bit, and please meet your friends. No, it's laws, it's commandments, it's rules, it's fear mongering all over again. And you have to conform, because if you don't conform, you're anti-socialite. Yep. Of course, if you are a Christian, and if the majority of people are in the spirit of Antichrist, on the Broadway leading to destruction, of course, you are anti-socialite in their views. Because if they claim what's right and what's wrong, of course, then when the lie is defining what's right and what's wrong, then of course truth is a lie. And the lie is the truth. And as the majority of people are in the same mindset, they believe it. They believe the lie. They believe Satan being transformed into an angel of light. In the next episode, we are going back to the Bible, and then we get to, I think, a very, very famous example of how politics and religion and indoctrination and science, everything has been mixed around to distract us from the truth. And yeah, if you know my German series, you know what's coming up. If you don't know it, maybe you like to keep the surprise, and I hope that you will be our next time our guest in the next session 4 of conspiracies. What does the Bible reveal about conspiracies? Thank you very much for having me. See you next time. Please read your Bible, and handing it over to my beloved brother Brett.
Yeah, Michael, I was just reading about the Ides of March here as we've been discussing a little bit. It's very interesting, researching this a little bit because, just when you think you know quite a bit about Romanism, there's always more to learn, Michael. It's that big. It is just, it seems endless, the amount of knowledge that has been wrapped up in 2,000 years or more, because the Roman Empire is just a succession of all the other empires. And if we look at the metal man image, it's at the bottom of the metal man. And it states in Daniel, or was it Revelation, that this beast is trampling all over the nations. So, you can't help but feel the weight of all of this history when you become aware that we've been deceived. All of this has been taken away from us. We're not allowed to think this way because that isn't a productive mindset, as you showed us in that article on the conspiracy theory. See, it's not productive for the world to look at the truth, the real truth, the historical truth, because that's in the written record. And I think, Michael, there's a lot more to learn. A lot more to learn. As our friend Jörg Listman said when I was at the outset of reading the book, The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop there, he said, it's a steep learning curve. And I agree. Once you get to that point, everything does change. So thank you, Michael, for taking the time and going through your wonderful script. Looking forward to the next session, and we hope to see you all there. Maranatha.